In this lesson, we're going to talk about how to choose a method for multiplying a binomial times a binomial. In the last lesson, we talked about how to use the FOIL method for multiplying two binomials together, and we also looked at a shortcut for multiplying a sum and a difference of two terms, and we looked at a shortcut for multiplying a binomial times itself, or how to square a binomial. So we know all these methods, but we want to learn how to choose the correct method for a given problem. And it's just a matter of learning to recognize the problems. So we'll look at several examples together. First, we have 3x minus 2 times 2x plus 3. Now this is definitely binomial times binomial, but it's not a sum and difference of two terms because they're not the same. I have 3x here and 2x there. So to be a sum and difference of two terms, they need to be exactly the same, and the only change is the signs are different. We do have different signs, but we don't have the same terms. So let's just use the FOIL method here. We'll go 3x times 2x, that's 6x squared. Then we'll go 3x times 3, that's 9x. Then inner times inner will be negative 4x. And last times last will be negative 6. Now we can combine our two middle terms. 9x minus 4x makes 5x. So we end up with 6x squared plus 5x minus 6. For the second one, we have 2x minus 9 times 2x plus 9. Now this is a sum and difference of two terms. I have 2x and 9 in both parentheses, and the only difference is a minus and a plus. So we can do first times first, which will be 4x squared. We can skip the outer plus inner step because that's the shortcut we can take on problems that look like this. The middle term will add up to 0, and then last times last will be minus 81. On 6x plus 5 squared, we know that this is going to give us a trinomial, and the way to find the three terms is to do 6x times itself, that will be 36x squared. The middle term will be 6x times 5, which is 30x, times 2, which is 60x, and last times last will give us plus 25. So again, that middle term we find by doing 6x times 5 times 2. Now we look at 5x plus 2 and 5x minus 2. This is a sum and difference of two terms. That means we can skip the middle step. 5x times 5x is 25x squared. Outer plus inner we skip. Last times last gives us minus 4. 7x minus 3 times 7x minus 3. Now this is not a sum and difference of two terms because they're both minus. This is actually squaring a binomial. More like this problem, it's just not written in the squared form. So we can say 7x times 7x is 49x squared. We can still take the shortcut to get our middle term. 7x times 3 is 21x, and if you double that, that makes minus 42x. And then last times last gives us plus 9. So again, I skipped the middle term because I took a shortcut, but we could do outer plus inner, which would be negative 21x plus negative 21x, or we could just say 7x times negative 3 is negative 21x, and then double that. On this last example, this is not a sum and difference of two terms, and it's definitely not a squared binomial either, so we'll use the FOIL method. 8x times 5x is 40x squared. Outer times outer is minus 24x. Inner times inner is plus 15x, and last times last is minus 9. Look at your two middle terms. Minus 24x plus 15x gives us minus 9x. So we end up with 40x squared minus 9x minus 9.